Like, there's not, for instance, a smoking crater, like, outside of your apartment or anything like that?
Yeah, nothing. No sirens or anything, like, following in the next, like, 5 to 30 minutes. Nothing.
So you were, like, the only one that heard this mysterious explosion. What time?
In the morning.
A nice, better than a rooster call is a nice morning explosion to get the old blood pumping, get you out of bed.
Yeah, it wasn't loud enough for me to be like, this is an Oppenheimer situation. Or
I do hate when Robert comes over because he's always blowing shit up. He loved blowing shit up.
But it wasn't enough to get me out of bed, which is dumb. Because I was like, it could have been the cat, but it really did not sound like it was the cat. Or it was like the cat, like, it would have to be the cat, like, going at full force into the window and something, like, smashing outside. Because the blinds is what rustled, and that's when I was like, something has happened.
Something's going on. But, again, you're the only person in the greater Los Angeles area that is any the wiser.
Our cat's known for setting bombs because I'm about to adopt 2, and so I'm worried that they're gonna explode me.
They could.
A cat will set off a bomb. Tom of Ann Jerry fame, he loved a bomb.
Kevin, that is a great point. Tom could not stop with the bombs.
Tom loved the bomb and says the thing you gotta know about Tomcat.
It's like both of my cats are gonna seal holes in my walls. Stick several sticks of dynamite inside of them. They're gonna like cower around the corner, and then like my paintings are gonna like push themselves off the wall and then fold back onto the wall.
Yeah,
and there's gonna be smoke coming out of everywhere.
Everything but the mouse hole is going to explode. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's gonna be rough. That's what cat ownership is like.
Yeah, it's kind of part of the deal. That's like it's in the fine print of adoption papers that you don't read.
It's in the fine print that just like sometimes being a cat parent is just watching your cat run face first into a frying pan, and then their head takes the shape of the frying pan, and that's just part of it, you know. And if you're a responsible pet owner, you're willing to put up with this. You know, it's not all cuddles all the time.
I can make this
as a lifelong member of Team Jerry. I never considered this aspect of cat ownership.
Right.
We can make this frying pan into a drying pan. From Pokemon.
From Pokemon, the anime. He made a frying pan into a drying pan, and he held it over his head, and it stopped the rain from falling onto his head. This was Brock.
'Twas Brock.
Former gym leader, Brock, who really now spent the rest of his time making an ass of himself.
Former gym leader, now adventure companion with a random kid.
Yeah, with a small child. I guess, you know, but like Pokemon ages are so weird and skewed that like, Brock is supposed to be like 16 or something like that. Eternal simp Brock, the rock gym leader of the Kanto region.
Yeah, and then he also, you know, Ash started collecting the gym leaders more than Pokemon because he also got the second one, and then he just stopped. He said, I do not want the American military general who specializes in electric-type Pokemon. That was a red flag.
I'm gonna roast a particular sexuality right now.
Wow.
And usually it's straight people, but not this time. This time it's...
You're off the hook this time, straight people.
Though some of you fit in this category, but I have experienced a lot of, in my community, specifically the trans queer community, but trans-leaning, this wave of polyamory. And I think the way I've observed this form of polyamory, this, quote, ethical non-monogamy, is I've witnessed a lot like catching Pokemon for them. And it's catching partners that have different skill sets and different abilities. So
well,
that
you gotta get your ice-type sexual partner to be good against dragon, but they're weak to fire, so you need like a ground-type sexual
exactly.
partner
it's like
to switch out.
It's like cherry picking, but it feels more like Pokemon because it's also trans people in different evolved stages. And so it is like this weird, like one is never enough. And you can have your like primary like Pikachu, but you still have like more. And this is just such a controversial opinion for me to just put out there, but I
Run the
think
Julias is a safe space.
Well, you've got your Pikachu partner walking around right behind you.
Yeah, that's your prime.
But you've also got 5 others in your pocket,
Exactly.
ready to go at a moment's notice.
and some are very
You can
tradable.
switch out.
I think I'm coming
Yeah.
from a place as being a very tradable Pokemon for about a
Some
year.
partners can only evolve after trading.
Yeah, and I personally was a very tradable Pokemon. For about a year, I was like outside tier.
You were like you were a Haunter or a Graveler or a Machoke, and it was like you needed to be traded to like really get up to like the top tier that you deserve to be.
Well, I've kind of just been bouncing around for a while. Not really a main.
You guys engaging in any double battles lately?
I did over the summer.
No, I'll be honest. I've never double battled. I find the one-on-one battle system to work out remarkably well. I guess I'm open to a double battle depending on who the other trainer is.
Yeah, I did a double battle with my ex this summer, and it was pretty fun.
That's such a powerful statement. I've double battled, but not in some time.
Mm-hmm. It's been a little bit. I feel like we're still coming out of what Pokemon metaphor can I use in place of COVID? It just kind of feels
stun spore.
Yeah, after the stun spore, it just feels like maybe some people are like a little hesitant, even still, to be like getting back into double battling.
Sure.
Oh wow, interesting. Yeah, I mean there's also a new Surge, so that makes sense.
Of course.
Lieutenant himself.
I didn't do a double battle until the vaccine. I was very just solo, or like me and my. The thing also about this Pokemon analogy is like you're in the power role and you're assigning everyone else's pets in a way. So in that way, it doesn't work either. In many ways,
there's
it
a
doesn't
power
work.
dynamic question that has always been present in Pokemon, but like the thing is like if you are old enough to start questioning the power dynamic of Pokemon's probably not for you anymore. If you are no longer willing to buy into the fundamental fiction, it's maybe just time to like go to something else,
Yeah. Do you guys identify more as trainers or as Pokemon?
Trainers.
Right now,
they're trainer
yeah,
for me.
As someone who's in direct pre-production to a film shoot, I'm in big trainer mode. And I'm trying to corral some fucking Pokemon, let me tell you very much.
Word.
I'm like, Tauros,
me,
please send me your scripts. And he goes,
my reasoning is more like I think about Pokemon and I'm like, damn, I love Wailord. But I don't think that a Wailord would be like, my favorite Pokemon's Wailord. So I gotta be a trainer, I guess.
Gotta be a trainer. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm more of a daycare center employee.
Oh, I love that.
I've always thought that's my role in the Pokemon universe.
Your role is to take care of the one Ditto that the trainer got and then breed them endlessly.
I have an Espeon, and I'm like holding a Blossom in my arms while you come into the daycare center, and I'm like, what can I help you with?
That's so ideal. That's so great. I want to be Nurse Joy, just chilling back there with like a Chansey. It was like, throw them on the machine. They hurt. We'll throw them in the machine, just real quick. It'll take like 5 seconds.
I want to be the messy alcoholic cop that is Officer Jenny. Officer Jenny.
None of us chose Team Rocket, and that's why the revolution is failing. So
love
far,
Team
people are just
Rocket.
not joining up. Everyone loves to post online and be like, "Yeah, Team Rocket has some points. I think Team Rocket really does need to take down the system," but no one's willing to like actually go out there and do it.
Yeah, this is a call to action.
Yeah,
It's questionable that this is a podcast with 3 queer people on it if none of us picked
Team Rocket.
That's true. I think I was just thinking of more in like the service industry of Pokemon. I think I was less thinking about all of the options.
Mm-hmm. Less thinking
Because
about overt terrorism.
Yeah, like, because that I'd be down for.
But also, like, the Team Rocket grunts must have day jobs. Like,
That's a good point.
I don't think they're getting paid.
Actually, they feel really like trust fund babies to me. Like, I would love to know who their parents are.
Canonically,
James does have a rich backstory.
Yeah, canonically, at
talk.
least Jesse and James do. But yeah, your average Rocket grunt, I mean, is not dissimilar from just like a guy peddling cheap drugs on the street corner. Afraid so. I've also been playing. I've been playing a Pokemon fan game called Pokemon Infinite Fusions, where you can fuse any two Pokemon into.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's sick as hell, and it opens up a lot of conversations in our queer Pokemon analogy. There's a lot going on there when you think about like combining a Venusaur and an Alakazam, as I have done in every playthrough I've done in this game. It opens up some doors.
I think a student showed me this, but it was just avatar based. It wasn't like a playable thing, so it must have evolved in the last few years.
Yeah, it's super playable.
I saw a video yesterday on TikTok comparing a Z move in the official game versus one in a fan-made game, and the one in the fan-made game was like the craziest animation you've ever seen, and then the official game is like ding, ding, ding,
Yeah, it
ding,
moves
ding.
like their arms 3 times, and that's it.
Right. Lots of criticism can be leveled at Game Freak for the graphics of their games. I'm not your man for those discussions. I haven't played through a Pokemon game since like maybe Platinum, maybe White version.
Oh, wow. Shit. So, yeah, it has been a long time for you. I am someone who every time there's a new Pokemon generation coming out, I'm like, maybe I just don't jump onto this one. Excuse me. And then I always inevitably do. And, like, the thing is, if you look up Pokemon game discourse on the internet, you will find nothing but people saying that, like, the most recent Pokemon game is, like, an affront, not only an affront to humanity, but, like, a violation of better business practices, should not be legal software sold on the market. And then I play it, and I'm like, this is a really fun game. They really got something here. This Pokemon game is fun as hell.
I definitely support all the new girls that are coming out. I love them all equally. I hear we're up to or over 1,000 of them now. That's great.
God, that's incredible. It's incredible what they've built, what they've done. And you know what? Welcome back to Run the Julias, the only podcast brave enough to cover every single work by America's sweetheart, Julia Roberts. I am one of your hosts, TV's Kevin Lanigan.
I am Kat Scott. I use they, them pronouns.
Amazing. And joining us for our first guest, a podcast superstar, a podcast impresario, former roommate of the pod. You may know him as the host of the Bitter Jurors podcast, of the Buffy Boyfriends podcast. Sam Stanish, welcome to the damn show.
I had no idea I was the first guest. Thank you so much for having me.
So welcome.
I use he, him pronouns, and I'm thrilled to be here. I love this film.
It's just, here's the thing. You throw on Ocean's 11. I don't know how many times each of you have individually watched the film Ocean's 11. But for me, the experience is every time I throw it on, I say, damn, this is one of the best fucking movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Movie is amazing. This movie's fucking good.
I think
Completely.
last time I watched it was when I rented it from Blockbuster, and now I'm not convinced that it even was Ocean's 11. It could have been Ocean's 12. So.
And listen, we will talk about Ocean's 12, but I want to save it because everyone is so wrong about Ocean's 12. Ocean's 12 is incredible. I did watch it after watching Ocean's 11 because I just wanted to. And I'm like, yeah, this is an incredible film that many people hate with every fiber of their being. But we ain't talking no 12. We ain't going to no Amsterdam. We ain't seeing no Catherine Zeta-Jones. All right, we are going to Sin City, baby, and we are talking about the 2001 Steven Soderbergh heist. It's every piece of heist media that has come out since this movie has been ripping this movie off directly in like 400 discrete ways. It's
Totally.
just it's impossible to describe the degree to which this changed the heist genre. And it was kind of just like a bunch of people fucking around in many, many ways. You know, this Ocean's 11 gets made 1 year after the year where director Steven Soderbergh was up for Best Picture twice. He was fighting against himself in the year 2000.
Wow.
And that gave him a lot of cachet in Hollywood, as you might imagine. And he's like, what if we remade like a shitty Rat Pack movie from the 60s and I put a bunch of movie stars in it, and also I made it look beautiful and the script was really good. And guess what? It worked. That was a good idea.
Hey, the music's gonna rule too. Don't forget about
Score is
that.
going to be incredible. Score is going to be so good. You're not even going to believe. And we're going to like remix it when we go to a Chinese opera. And so it's like a Chinese version of the theme. It's going to be so good. Claire de Lune, you've never heard it like this before.
Had he done Aaron Brockovich? Was that the...
Yes, this is like the year following Aaron Brockovich. So Julia Roberts is fresh off Sweet Oscar, and Julia Roberts, of course, does what many people do after they win Sweet Oscar, and they go fuck around and do some fun movies for a little while. They're like, cool, I did the serious one, I got the trophy, time to fuck around. Nowadays, that's like, oh, Brie Larson wins an Oscar, now she's Captain Marvel. That is the trajectory that these people take. Whereas in the 2000s, it was like, sweet, Julia Roberts, you win Best Actress, getting in Oceans. Catherine Zeta-Jones, you win Best Supporting Actress, getting in Oceans. You know, it's just that's what happened. You were a tertiary character in an Oceans movie.
It kind of feels like a favor too, in a way, just based on the content that she's given here. Mm-hmm. We don't really get that Julia Roberts smile at all. She has to be demure in this, kind of sad. And even at the end, we don't get a lot of it. So it feels kind of like, hey, I just did this great movie with you. Yeah, I'll do your next thing.
For fun. Will you be the fifth largest body on the poster, where all the bodies are kind of going down in a sort of descending order? And that's what she's doing. I mean, it is a full 40 minutes before Julia Roberts appears on screen in this movie. It's a complete, like, reveille. It's a complete upending of everything that we've seen so far, as we discover now there is a completely personal angle to this. And then she has, like, you honestly need Julia Roberts for this part, or like one of the very few people that are on her level, because you have to make so much happen so quickly. The audience needs to understand, like, yeah, of course Danny is trying to, like, win this woman back. She's Julia Roberts. And you get my favorite scene in the fucking movie, like, their first meeting back together in the restaurant, and their incredible, like, back and forth exchange. You need to understand the full dynamic of these two people. You need to understand, like, why this man is risking it all after getting back out of prison just to get his incredibly hot wife back. And you get it. It's that's Julia. That's why you need Julia to play Tess.
I was surprised. I mean, it's an interesting piece of homework to talk about Julia Roberts movies and then talk about Ocean's 11, because obviously she's, not in this so much compared to the eponymous 11 men, and then also Terry Benedict. So she's like, she's not any of the people mentioned in the title, and she's not the villain. So she's like kind of the 13th string. Obviously she has a bigger role than some of the dudes, but she's incredible in this movie.
She's so good. And you know what? It is Matt Damon as Linus who says it best when he says, like, best part of my day. And then Julia Roberts comes down the stairs. And I'm like, that's how I feel watching all these movies. This is so nice to just hang out with Julia for a little while.
Who was your favorite performer of this movie besides Julia?
Well, this brings me to a theory I had while watching this film. And Kevin, you asked me, or you didn't ask me, but you mentioned, like, I don't know how many times you've seen this movie before. I genuinely could not even begin to calculate. Like, I have no idea how many times I've seen Ocean's 11. Like, it was on all the time on TV, but also, like, my mom and my sister also really love this movie, and we owned it and Ocean's 12 on DVD. Ocean's 12 was on TV all the time too. And so both of these movies are just, like, I have seen them an unbelievable amount of times. But bringing me to my theory. I think that every time you watch this movie, you come away from it with a crush on a new one of the team.
Totally.
I
Totally.
agree. I love that 100%.
For me, this time it was the French bomb guy. So he's great.
I love this guy. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. Well, I mean, I think this time, because I was specifically looking at it in a Julia lens, it like really, painted in all the test stuff. But I have a phenomenal lifelong crush on George Clooney, and Danny Ocean. Danny Ocean, he, because everyone on the team has like a different skill set or whatever. Danny never really does a lot. Like, obviously he's the one putting these teams together. It's kind of like his master plan, but as far as executing elements of the plan, his job is usually sitting back in a room, like looking at a computer. But his superpower, if he has a role, is like, I am cool. You can't shake me. You can't flap me. I am going to walk into the room. Everybody kind of likes me. I'm Danny Ocean. Like, this is, what are you gonna do? You gonna hurt me?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of Rusty's thing too. Like they're both just kind of like they're good at they're good thieves and they know what they're talking about, but they don't have like a superpower.
Danny
they're
and
just
Rusty
like
are
charismatic.
so. I think the only proper reading of this film franchise is that they are husbands and they are just in like semi-non-monogamous marriage. I think that is the only way for me to interpret these movies.
Yeah, or they're exes that know that they're just like really, really good at business together. So they're glued together.
They started the business together and they broke up, but it works too well. We have to keep doing this. It's the only way either of us are gonna keep going.
The Wikipedia hole I went down for this was, oh, that one young guy, he's like kind of charismatic. He looks familiar. Oh, that's Casey Affleck. Oh, Matt Damon is Ben Affleck's best friend. I wonder why he definitely had to have been up for this. It was definitely, Ben was Matt's best friend. What happened there? And then I went down more holes and there was some interview where I think Ben Affleck was joking, but was like, I just didn't think that George Clooney had the star power. And
what a boy.
And passed up on it. And they've worked together since then.
Who would Ben? I guess Ben would have had to have been like Rusty, right? Because Ben's not going to be playing the Casey Affleck part.
I don't know where he was in his career at that point. I don't know.
Post-Oscar. He also had an Oscar under his belt.
Yeah.
I guess Matt did too.
On the production tab of the Wikipedia page, they talk about all the various boys who were considered for various roles of this film. And I'm very glad that Johnny Depp was not cast in the role of Linus Caldwell.
Which one was Linus?
That's Matt
Linus
Damon.
is Matt Damon, the younger guy.
Oh, that would have been bad. He's not good in that kind of stuff.
Damon's so good in
I was going to say,
movies.
I think Matt was my favorite performer of this watch. And then the role that I would want to be the most was the like Cockney bomber that does the
100% Basher.
Yeah, not French.
The incredible Basher Tar, as played by Don Cheadle. God bless. God bless.
Pinch, right? I loved that thing.
We need a pinch.
The pinch.
I loved that it was just like lime green bubbles in like a tube. I was just obsessed with that. That was my favorite.
Everyone in the audience knows what that is. That fucking Star Trek prop they brought in for this movie.
I was like, this is what I was craving out of Oppenheimer, was the pinch, and I got it here.
I mean, listen, there's some cast carryover. Casey Affleck, Matt Damon, they're in Robbie Oppie's Fun Time Desert Land,
I'm sure many other viewers of this film immediately Googled Ocean's 11 is Pinch real?
Is Pinch real?
And they do exist, with the note that it probably couldn't black out the entire city of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But going back to Matt Damon as Linus Caldwell, I do think that this was one of my earliest crushes prior to understanding what I was experiencing.
Absolutely. He's got that vibe. And it's sort of that forbidden sleeper cop vibe too, which he's played many times. Like I'm not like the other cops. I'm the kind of kind of a narc, but I'm kind of bad. Like, I don't know. He's a good boy who's too curious about the other side of the tracks, and that's like his sweet spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's constantly getting made fun of and embarrassed by George Clooney and Brad Pitt. It's like, I learned a lot from this movie.
I also found that Ben Affleck refuses to eat food based on like some early childhood acting experience of continuity eating food, and he resented how Brad Pitt always eats food in almost every scene or is drinking something, which I had never noticed, and then by the end definitely noticed.
Oh yeah. Famously, Brad Pitt is an actor who loves to eat on screen in general, but Rusty's primary character trait is eating food. That is most of his personality, is eating. I think the only scene where he's not directly eating is when he's teaching 90s teen soap stars to play poker. You know, like, I think that's the only scene maybe where he's not munching something down.
He must have a beer or something.
He's got it, right? You know, when he's teaching like Topher Grace and Joshua Jackson and a bunch of people I didn't recognize.
Combs.
Yeah,
Guy from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, Mr.
Casey.
Fringe.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the fringes.
They made like a TV star joke too, which was funny because I thought that it was like a direct dig to that 70s show and Dawson's Creek. I thought
yeah, because he says joke. Like, I'm teaching like TV stars how to play poker or whatever, and they all suck and they don't care and they're just like fucking around. It's very funny. Topher Grace will of course be a running theme throughout the Ocean's movies. He will appear in all of them, menacing Rusty's life.
Even more appearances than Julia Roberts.
Yes, because Julia Roberts is not in Ocean's 13, and it's one of the fundamental problems I have with Ocean's 13. I have friends that love Ocean's 13. I personally think it's fine. It's a perfectly fine way to spend a couple hours of your life, but losing Tess is just, it's a no-go for me. And the way that Tess appears in Ocean's 12, I mean, I don't want to spoil it for any audience members that have not been graced by that incredible sequence, but boy, she's the beating heart of this franchise for me.
It's Ocean's 12 is, obviously we're not here to talk about Ocean's 12, but the Ocean's 12 test stuff is some of the best.
It's elite.
So
it's
good.
like galaxy brain filmmaking shit. And like, if someone tells me they hate it, I'm like, I do understand, but that's exactly what I want out of a movie like this. But yeah, I mean, this is, you know, I've been looking. I'm on old Matt Damon's IMDb. And of course, he has, you know, he was acting from a kind of young age. His first on-screen role as Steamer in Mystic Pizza. Go see that episode of this very podcast. But this is kind of the moment because he's in a lot of, you know, in the 90s indie boom, in the Sundance boom. Matt Damon is almost like one of the central figures of that, between like Good Will Hunting and appearing in Kevin Smith movies and things like that. And then, you know, he gets the old tap on the shoulder from Steven Spielberg playing Private Ryan in a movie called Saving Private Ryan. But this is kind of the moment where we're like, should we bet it all on Matt Damon? Where people are wondering, studios are wondering, like, is this the guy, or is he going to flash in the pan and like disappear? But, I mean, Ocean's 11 hits big, and then the next year, Bourne Identity, baby. And we're off to the races, and that's it. Matt Damon's here to stay, and I gotta say, Matt Damon, especially nowadays, has become one of those guys where if he shows up in a movie, I'm like, this movie just got a little better. One of the steadiest fucking hands in Hollywood. You see Matt Damon, you're like, oh, well, I'm in safe hands for a little while.
And
I do trust him.
yeah, I trust him with the word faggot. And I think
I knew it was coming. I knew you were going to bring it up.
I have to. Every time we
Sam, do you know about Matt Damon's relationship with that word?
No.
Okay, Kat,
his child, like, he put out some statement that
his, like,
was
step
like,
kid, I think.
yeah, he put out a statement that, like, he recently learned not to say faggot, and that people shouldn't say it.
And this is within, like, the last 365 days.
Yeah. It was, like, very recently he, like, discovered that it was a slur, and and no longer uses it, despite the fact that he uses it constantly, I believe, in like The Departed.
Definitely comes up in The Departed.
Yeah,
It's an honest depiction of the Boston lifestyle. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? If no one said faggot in The Departed, you'd be like, well, they're really shining this up. They're really trying to shine that apple.
And so
I have Googled just now Matt Damon faggot, and the Daily Beast article comes up, says that his daughter had to write a treatise, quote, on it to show him that faggot was bad in 2021.
Can I get like a 3-page
I would love to
paper
get a
on-
PDF. I'd love to get a PDF of that
God.
treatise if anybody has it.
Please, Matt Damon's daughter, I'm begging you, a discreet Dropbox of that file would enlighten my life to such a beautiful
It's like a
degree.
keynote presentation, and it like goes around like on all these different things.
with like animations.
They got out the HDMI cable. She had to put it on the big screen for Maddie D.
A
Oh,
pointer,
fuck.
one of those laser pointers,
Yeah. Oh,
whiteboard,
God.
beautiful mind.
Next slide. Yeah. Oh, incredible.
The word that my daughter calls the F slur for her homosexual. It's like what is even the context for him revealing this? Why would he say any of
I
that?
Because
don't know,
before-
like, you don't have to release like a press statement.
No, it's like pre-canceled. He was probably like knows there's so much out there, but he hadn't been like
Get ahead of it.
hadn't come up, but he knew it was coming, and so he was like, you know what, she's right. I'm gonna say this here and now, and it's like no one was there yet, Matt.
Quote, I made a joke months ago and got a treatise from my daughter. She left the table. I said, come on, that's a joke. It's like, what joke are you
Yes.
saying? I need a whole play-by-play of the entire
Exactly.
situation where he's like saying faggot in front of his daughter.
That's why I can't stop bringing this up.
It's incredible.
Everyone has to know about it.
I've talked about it before. Celeb brain is a terminal disease. You know, when you become famous, you get locked into that age and that mindset and that level of progressiveness for the rest of your life. And it takes a lot to move you past like the moment you got famous. And like, yeah, mid-90s, you know, that word was on the table. That was still fair game, and he needed to get past that. And I would also, it has nothing to do with Ocean's 11, but I'd be amiss if we didn't shout out Matt Damon's 4-episode arc on 30 Rock as Carol the pilot. I just, on a show full of incredible line readings, him on the plane talking about Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole is something I think about every single day of my life. I mean, God, but I know it sounds silly to say, but God, this cast is fucking stacked. You got old hands like Elliot Gould and fucking Carl Reiner, you know, comedy legends of the 70s, just kind of coming in, giving really fun performances. You got Scott. I love that both of the Mormon twins are Nepo babies. I love that it is James Caan's kid and Ben Affleck's brother. And I think that's beautiful.
They had a bunch of good people on the list for the. I've never looked at the people they were in talks with to join the cast, but they were gonna have Luke and Owen Wilson playing the twins for a little bit.
Also, I would like to take a look over at that alternate universe. I bet that's pretty fun.
But then they had to decline due to their commitment for the Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh,
And then also Mike Myers, Bruce Willis, Ewan McGregor, Alan Arkin, and Ralph Fiennes, however you say that, were considered for roles but had to drop out. And the Coen brothers were considered as replacements for the Wilson brothers.
Oh my God.
And Mark Wahlberg was originally Matt Damon's part, but then had to leave to make Planet of the Apes.
Well, it seems like Mark Wahlberg's the only real loser of that list. It seems to have. I guess he's still very famous, but he did have to be in the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes movie, which is I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, he made the wrong choice, but we got Matt Damon out of it.
We got Matt Damon, minted forever. Now a Soderbergh regular. He loves to throw a little Matt Damon when he's making like No Sudden Move. He loves to throw in a little Matt Damon. The Informant. We wouldn't have The Informant if Matt doesn't do Ocean's 11.
I'm not going to cancel Matt Damon for this, but I feel like the one on Wikipedia, it is really, he's very verbose advocating for his daughter, which is really cute. But during Me Too, I think he like was a little too quick to be like, I don't think my friend did that. I don't know. And it looks like that was sort of damage control from like 2017 to
there is a lot of back and forth on Al Gore's internet about whether Matt Damon good or Matt Damon bad. And I think, because Matt Damon will equally go out there and say, like, I don't think my friend Me Too'd anybody. Or, like, go out there and staunchly, like, support, like, teachers' unions striking. Like, on the picket line. You know what I mean? And people are like, is he good or is he bad? And unfortunately, folks, like most of us, Matt Damon, right there in the middle. He's got good stuff. He's got bad stuff.
Yeah. Is he the one who loves water, or is that someone else?
Loves water?
Like
he might have ads for water.
There's a celebrity that loves promoting clean water.
Like
is it Mark Ruffalo?
Shape of Water.
Is it a different cast member of Kenneth Lonergan's Margaret?
Tasty.
No, Matt Damon is a co-founder of water.org.
Oh, shit. The nonprofit water.org. Shit. They got in early on the internet on that one. Fuck. Well, amazing. Thank you, Matt Damon. I guess this podcast is not nominally about Matt Damon, but he's an interesting guy to talk about. This movie's replete with people. Fucking Bernie Mac is in this movie and just kills it. I love me some Bernie Mac as someone who grew up watching the Bernie Mac show. A legend of stand-up comedy in his time, and he's just Frank is a wonderful presence in these movies. Just like a nice sort of bit of comedic relief that isn't as overt and in your face as the twins.
Yes, I do feel he is potentially suffering from rusty Danny syndrome and doesn't really have a full thing that he's quote unquote contributing to the team.
He's the inside man. He works at the casinos.
He watches and he learns things.
He watches, he learns routines. But yeah, he's not. It does kind of feel like, okay, without like, you could do this maybe with just like Basher and a few other people. Like I don't know if we need all 11 members of this squad. I feel like Wang, is probably like the most valuable member of the team, getting shoved into various tiny spaces, doing backflips, like Danny's not doing any backflips.
No.
He did that one, he fell.
He did do that. Listen, he's not perfect. Oh, Danny fell. You mean like down like the elevator shaft? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like they cut the thing and then he fell.
He pretended to get beat up. That was very important.
That's what I was going to bring up.
He got a little beat up. Yeah, he got
a little for real beat up by his big friend, who I assume he met in prison. But yeah, he does need to get serially beat up. He's kind of like, Danny is like a flashy sort of distraction. Like Terry Benedict is like zeroed in on this guy. Like, what's this guy doing to fuck me over? So that like Livingston Dell can go plant wires in the back and Terry's not going to pay any attention to that guy.
Livingston Dell is my husband in another life.
He's incredible. I love him.
Which one's that one?
He's the nerdy
technology
like, tech
guy.
Ah, the classic. Yeah.
Classic. Sweaty, nervous, technology guy. He's a real sweetheart. He's kind of he's a little cutie,
That's your role, right? When you want to be in movies, Kevin, that's your...
Yeah, my only, when I have like acting dreams, I don't want to be like the lead actor in an Oscar drama. I don't want to be the lead actor on Broadway. I want to be the tech guy on CSI. I want to sit behind the screen and be like, buddy, you're not going to believe this. We found traces of ox blood in this guy's veins. Like, what's going on? Like, that's what I want to do. So yeah, Livingston Dell is sort of my role. I would also like to be a part of the twins. I think the twins run the risk of being annoying, but they're actually not in this movie all that much if you were to like get out your stopwatch. So it keeps it like funny and light and quick. Whereas like, I don't know, if you remade this movie today and it was like Jonah Hill and Seth Rogen, like maybe they'd run a little long and those edits would go a little long.
Yeah, Casey Affleck has a very untrustworthy face.
And has done many untrustworthy things in real life. I don't know if you're aware of that. But...
No.
Okay, well, Casey Affleck, no good.
The film trusts you to know to get their dynamic just from like a 3-second interaction rather than like a 4-minute scene.
Yes, they get it down. I mean, this movie is a bastion of efficiency in essentially like every respect. If I were to teach a screenwriting class, which I very, very well may do someday, I think the character introductions of Ocean's 11 are like what you put up on the board of like, they introduce 11 fucking characters in, I think you've met everyone by like what, 15, 20 minutes into the movie, and like you got one very brief scene with all of them that tells you everything you need to know. And we are not wasting any time. There's a modicum of efficiency. This movie is like under 2 hours long. The shoot did not run long because they did not use lights. No one brought in like a light kit. They only used lights that were already in the spaces that they were occupying.
I was wondering about that.
That's why it looks so fucking cool, because it's like, oh, we're just using like weird casino lighting. No movie looks like this movie, except for maybe Ocean's 12.
I also, in the Wikipedia hunt of why is Casey Affleck here, where's Ben Affleck, and then as I continued to learn about this film, it was also shot super quickly. Like, they took very short, it was like a masterclass for the actors in like efficiency on set. And, like, not wasting time, like, getting the shot and just kind of, like, trusting your actors to give the performances, which is cool.
I mean, that's one of Steven Soderbergh's, like, claims to fame these days. You know, he has a modicum of efficiency. He can push projects out at a clip that fucking nobody else is working at. He's the only mainstream director to have embraced shooting movies on an iPhone. He's the only one doing it. Like, he's the only guy, like, yeah, I'll shoot a movie on a cruise ship with Meryl Streep. It will be shot on an iPhone. I will be done. He edits the movies while they're shooting them. Like, after a day of shooting, he takes all the footage from that day. He edits it on his MacBook. So basically, by the time they're done shooting, the movie is also done editing. It's just nobody's got a brain like Steven Soderbergh. It's incredible. He's the man. He's the number one guy.
I read, and this is just, we could really just be doing a podcast about the Wikipedia page about Ocean's 11, but I read that in like 2011, an all-female Japanese musical theater troupe adapted the movie to a musical.
Good.
Wow.
And I'm like, literally, I don't know that I've ever needed to see anything more than this right now in this moment.
Wait, I know about this because when I was in Japan, this is like a thing where like you like really, really can't be gay in Japan. But there's like sort of this loophole of all female like musical theater performances. It's like huge production value, kind of like Rockettes. And, like, there's one sort of androgynous girl who plays, like, the dude roles. And they do, like, different, like, known intellectual properties. I think they were doing, like Titanic. Yeah, and I guess Ocean's 11 must be one of them. But they do this. It was in, like, Osaka when I was there. I didn't get to see it, but I heard a lot about it because my friend was getting really into drag. And it was, like, the closest thing to drag culture that she could find. But that's the only really space where you can do gay shit as women in Japan.
Wow. Is community theater productions of Ocean's 11 the musical.
It's not community theater though.
No, you're right.
It's more like Rockettes. Like, it's huge.
It's the level of of Rockettes level.
That's
Shit.
what I was saying. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's big. Sell at Carnegie. Hey, I say bring them over here. Sell at Carnegie Hall.
I know. I'm
Radio
so
City
here
Music
for
Hall.
it.
Bring them in. What else is Radio City Music Hall really being used for?
My graduation.
Shit.
Not really. But NYU usually, like, Tish at least does graduation.
So you've had 2 college graduations at famous theater performance spaces.
Yeah, mine was technically at Beacons Theater, which also is one, and the Muni. Yeah.
Webster University famously has its graduation ceremonies at the massive outdoor theater, the Muni.
Mine was in the parking lot, though, of the Muni.
Well, there's the main ceremony in the big theater, and then, you go to some parking lot somewhere where if you are the 2015 graduating class, it is torrenting rain on you the entire time. Amazing stuff. I don't know. We haven't really talked about it. I really like Andy Garcia as Terry Benedict in this film. Andy Garcia, a great, supporting actor. Of course, now he's basically just plays supporting performances in Kristen Wiig movies, but that's a good gig if you can get it. I don't know. He's just got all the menace and all the, the tight buttoned up class that you need from like a role to where this very silly sort of lightweight movie has like a little bit of threat, just like a little bit of pressure applied.
No, yeah, he plays it perfectly. I feel he's like refined, but like powerful, and he's even though Terry Benedict has not done anything wrong. Like he's likely a criminal, like within the confines of the movie. Like, but we haven't found that out. Like, we don't know anything that he's done bad.
No, he's just really good at running a casino. And
Danny Ocean's ex-wife.
Yeah,
but like he plays it so well that like you do hate him just because Danny Ocean hates him, and I guess that's George Clooney doing it too. But like, there's no reason to actually dislike him, given the facts of the film. But he is still an excellent villain and very powerful.
I think if he was hot, like it wouldn't work. So he had to like really play it like not sexy, like powerful but not
he's
sexy.
He's hot in his own way, but not in an overt George Clooney, Danny Ocean.
Right, like he couldn't be, because I was thinking of like if like Javier played him, and then I was like, no, he would be too sexy.
Yeah,
like that kind of. There's like sexy villains, and you couldn't really have a sexy villain in this role, or it would distract from it. I was wondering early on in the film, like what the sex life is like for, like, how did these two get together? What's in it for Julia? What's in it for Tess? What do they do sexually?
He doesn't make her laugh, but
he
doesn't make her cry.
That's what's in it for her. She doesn't cry anymore.
She's had Danny Ocean, who's always off running jobs, and I bet he's missed some birthdays and some Christmases. You know what, Terry Benedict? He's everywhere on time. He's obviously a very rich man. Let's not discount that. Allows Tess to do her art curation job. It's security. That's what Terry Benedict represents. It's tight security. It's a dependency. You always know where he's going to be. You always know what he's going to be up to. And but unfortunately, he would sell out Tess to get his money back, and that's the final drop. That's the final straw.
Yeah.
Yeah. He of all people should know that in this hotel, someone is always watching.
Someone's always watching. All you would-be screenwriters out there, that's called plant and payoff. And this movie does it very, very well. It's like a slight nitpick. It's like a little unclear to me during the heist of like how much of throwing Danny off the job is part of it. Like, is that a work by Rusty and them, or is it legit? Because like, Livingston's ready to like patch in the feed to Julia's hotel room like right away. So they do care about Danny's emotional investment. There's no other reason for them to do that. There's no like strategic advantage to them doing that. But maybe Livingston's just like a nice guy,
It does seem like it's part of the overall plan for there to be a part where they don't have him in. And that could be like as a failsafe in case any of the other guys get like caught, I guess, where like they wouldn't be saying like it was with Danny because he's like not on the job anymore, even though he arranged the entire thing. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Yeah, that felt kind of like they needed a conflict. They needed like a turn, and there wasn't really anywhere else to turn it. And so that was kind of the only conflict they needed, a Rusty and Danny conflict, and it wasn't. Yeah, it did feel that felt forced for me. It was like
just like a dash.
It's not like they're gonna trust Rusty with these explosives down in the vault by himself. It was all part of it.
But Rusty has to, I guess a big part of heisting is putting on costumes and wigs, because he comes in as a little doctor character, then he comes in as the SWAT guy. Unfortunately, the first time I watched this movie, I have like a pretty good ability to tell like if somebody's voice is somebody's voice. So I'm like, oh, that's Brad Pitt talking on the walkie-talkie. Like I'm clued into this a little early, unfortunately.
I remember like that part and being like, oh. It's weird they like kind of, because I did not know how the plot went, so I was like, this is such obvious ADR. Like, I wonder why they're doing like, why didn't they show this guy's face? This is like,
and you're like,
for this movie, I'm surprised they like overlooked this ADR, and I was like overthinking it, and then the payoff, I was like, oh my god, like,
oh my god. This movie is also constructed in such a way, and like my brain operates in such a way that like every time between when I watch it, I forget like exactly how the heist thing works, and I'm like, okay, so they're watching the security footage of this part, but the money is still in bags, and they're like carrying it out, and like whatever. I'm a little dope. It just like works on me every time.
Yeah, I don't think I fully understood the heist until it was like the 10th time I was watching the movie. I first saw it when I was probably like 7, and so like
pretty complex.
I had no idea what was going on, and then even now today, while leading up to the reveal of what's going on, I'm still like, what happened again? And then but then during it I understand, but if you asked me to talk it through right now, I wouldn't be able to.
Immediately after Ocean's 11 closes, like, explain the heist to me, and you're like, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
We'll never be able to do that.
But it's like the magic trick of this movie that you're like, it works. I don't know, like it makes sense while you're watching it, and then you're like, wait, what is the A to B to C that just happened?
Yeah, and then the money's cut in half, and then some of it turns into flyers, and then they're a SWAT team, and then the feed goes out, and really the pinch is just for that one moment where they're falling down the elevator, which was weird to me that you would
black out the whole city.
Black out the whole
That's the only way to get through these lasers.
That part was weird to me. I was like, I'm missing a part of the heist. Like, I feel like I was overthinking it because I was like, it can't be that. Like,
it can't just be that. It kind of throws everything into like a bit of chaos. You know what I mean? It kind of unseats. I mean, it does start like a minor riot in the casino.
That was
everyone's like trying to steal poker chips and shit.
That was really good. Yeah.
So that's a good bit. Yeah, it's throwing off the equilibrium. I guess it's a little bit more than them going down the elevator shaft, although mostly about them going down the elevator shaft.
Sure. I mean, there's film reasons why this pinch happened, but for the plan, all they needed was for the elevator.
Right. Exactly.
That's why I was confused, because I have this complex watching like classic boy movies where like I get in my head about it and I'm like, I'm not smart enough for this. There's stuff in here that I just wouldn't get. So then I like overanalyze everything, being like, what are the boys seeing that I can't see? And then when there's plot holes, I'm like, oh.
No, it is just usually that simple. It is. No, Goodfellas is just about people doing crimes. You know, like it's really, that's it. It's all on the surface. People doing crimes and cocaine. That's what it's about.
I love when people do crimes.
Crimes are just fun to watch. This is a movie. This is a franchise all about watching people do crimes. Crimes are great. There's nothing better as a plot for a movie than crime.
Absolutely. Oh, there's so much to play with because there are so many laws, you know?
Yeah, there's inherent danger of just like breaking laws. I'm like, are they going to get caught? Are they going to die? That could happen.
Like, I think I'm breaking laws all the time and I just don't know it. Like, it's
probably
part of the human experience.
Absolutely. A lot of laws, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think there's a more consistent genre than heist. I think more so than any other kind of movie, if you put on a heist movie, even one you know nothing about, there is a better chance that it's going to be pretty good than any other kind of movie.
And that's my issue with action in general, is I think I can get, like, fooled into thinking I'm watching a heist movie and get really excited about it. Like, even in, like, Marvel movies, if even for an instant think I'm about to watch a heist, I'm like, ooh, I'm all plugged in. And then it turns into, like,
Then the
action
heist is
and,
just...
yeah, no follow through. And then I'm like, ugh, can't believe I put my heart and soul into this.
I know. Speaking of Marvel, there was something that I thought about while watching this movie where, like, so many Marvel movies, you can very obviously tell that, like, no one was in the same fucking room at the same time. And there is just something really nice to, like, watching this movie and seeing, like, all 11 of these people in the same room, in the same shot. And you're like, that's just a very powerful piece of filmmaking. It's just like, look at all these people in one spot at one time, getting a nice dolly shot in front of the fountain.
Yeah, what did you think of that? Did you like that?
It's so good. It's so good. It's just beautiful.
And they're all leaving.
catharsis.
I think
perfect.
It's silly, but
They leave one by one, and then Carl Reiner's
It's
the
all
last
at the
one.
end. Come on.
It's
I think
beautiful. It's sentimental.
silly but cute. It's silly but cute. It's
I'll
like,
take it.
It's like bromance, you know, at its heart. Just the tap on the back, just the camaraderie, the like, we did it, Joe. Yeah.
That's all that's the most, like, affection dudes will ever show. You know, that is the most important emotional relationship in all of those men's lives, and they don't say a word. You don't need to. They stare at the fountain. It's like here's how your dad hangs out with another dude. They both stare at the same thing for a little while, and they're like, best relationship in my entire life.
They tap each other on the back once or twice, and they get out of there.
Yeah. Men will fish in complete silence for 3 hours with their best dude friend, and that's all they need. Like, that's it. You look at the fountain, Claire de Lune plays. That's all. I wish that happened to me every day. Just me and the boys look at the fountain for a little while. I guess I could live that life. That's possible.
This is backtracking a little bit to watching dudes do crime, but I mean, we're a little bit out of it now, but for, you know, a good 5-year period, we were in this hell of media anti-heroes and discourse surrounding them. And, like, all of these dudes are bad guys, but we root for them. I'd say they're all anti-heroes. We got 11 good examples here. I think that this is how you do it. This is how you make an anti-hero in film.
Absolutely. Linus is just like a pickpocket. He's like the guy who, like, takes your wallet on the Chicago above ground train.
Yeah,
that's a piece of shit thing to do. But you're like, he's the best pickpocket, you say. That's interesting.
Did either of you see Kimberly Akimbo on Broadway?
Yeah.
I did not.
Okay, well, that's kind of a heist musical, Kevin. But
whoa,
I would not...
say no more.
But their thing is that they're robbing from random people, just like Linus. Like, they pull letters out of the mail, and then they just take people's utilities checks and rewrite what they're putting on the checks. And it's like, God. These are rent-paying individuals, and you're just, like, stealing from them. That's not good. That's not good business.
Wow.
Amazing song, though. I don't remember a lot about that musical. That was one of those musicals where I walked away and I was like, I don't think, similar to the heist, I don't think I could tell you chronologically what happens in this musical. But I did really love Bonnie's song, which is basically about doing crime because life's hard and, you know, you gotta make ends meet and live life. And I love that.
That's all true. Bonnie's too right. I think part of what helps the anti-hero thing is again, like, you're up against Terry Benedict, who, again, by all accounts is like a rule-following, like, above-board sort of guy. He maybe has, like, you know, some guys that'll break your legs or whatever, but, like, he runs a casino. Like, they all have fucking... He's not any worse than any
You
of
have to
the
be a
other
little
ones.
threatening in case thieves come in to steal your millions of dollars.
Right, on, like, the biggest money night of the year where you're having, like, an HBO pay-per-view, you know? Like, you gotta fucking have your shit on lock. And you know what? But you're just like, ooh, I don't like that guy. He reminds me of people I don't like that I've met before, and I do wish someone would rob him. And I don't think it comes up in this movie. It comes up in, like, Ocean's 12 that, like, he got all this money back from insurance. Like, all of this money is insured to hell.
Whoa.
Exactly. But they will, like, you know, but they'll still
thing.
send those two bald men to, like, follow you in their car at the end. A nice
That
little
was
note.
good, too. That was good, being like, like silver sedan in the corner. Like, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my god.
They're following a plot beat that Soderbergh will repeat verbatim in Logan Lucky, his other incredible heist film.
Is that when Wolverine tries to get Lucky at a casino?
I wish. No, it's Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, Daniel Craig, and Riley Keough, and they rob a race car track. They're like, it's like redneck Ocean's 11. They even have like two characters who are literally just the twins from this movie. Like, they just repeat the exact same archetype again. And it's great. It's fantastic. Logan
That's
Lucky
an
better than Ocean's
amazing
13.
cast.
Yeah, it's great. You should check it out. Completely fucking good, watchable movie. Just like this one. Just like this one.
I've also never seen it, but if it's anything like Ocean's 11 and it sounds like it's beat for beat the exact same thing, I'm in.
Yeah, 100%. Throw that on. You'll have a great evening. That's a super watchable movie. And in the last like 15 minutes of that movie, Hilary Swank shows up to be like, "I will catch these thieves." It's incredible. It's really good. You know, and they made 2 sequels to this movie because it was a big, big hit. People were very mad about Ocean's 12, and then they went back and the entire press tour for Ocean's 13 was like, we're sorry, this one is just the first one again, we're just doing it again, but we're robbing Al Pacino. And then they made Ocean's 8, where, you know, which is related to this movie, makes a very controversial opinion to kill off Danny Ocean. I think he's faking it.
He was. It is clear.
Ruben really throws some mustard on it. It's like, yeah, sure, Danny Ocean's dead. Now, you know, I feel like we talked a lot of good stuff here about Ocean's 11. Great film. Check it out if you in the listening audience have somehow never heard it. I do have maybe a little fun little task for us if we wanna do a little section. If we are rebooting Ocean's 11.
Oh god.
You know, not like the prequel movie with Margot Robbie or whatever that they're working on. We're doing our own. Do we want to build the cast of our Ocean's 11?
Yeah, and my first choice is Wayne Brady.
I love that.
I love that.
The newly out pansexual icon Wayne Brady.
Yeah, first pick.
So we got Wayne Brady. Next, Colin Mockery, Ryan Stiles, Drew Carey.
Colin would be a really good like computer guy.
Colin would be fun.
And they would have
but
a really good
just,
rapport.
It'd be weird if there were 2 Who's Line guys.
No,
and
it wouldn't be weird.
I'm fine with it being weird.
No, there's like 2 Departed guys. I think 2.
This is pre-Departed anyway. So I think maybe this time, maybe it's not all dudes. You know what I mean? It's 2023. Ocean's 23. You know, it's time. We're not all dudes. It's 23 cast members. Let's see who's up. Do we want Sydney
Margot
Sweeney?
Robbie.
Is there a place for Sydney Sweeney? Well,
yeah.
Margot's already doing her like 19th century Europe Oceans prequel or whatever, which like, yeah, sounds good. I'll watch that.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney's fine. She's good at stuff. I mean, she's good.
I've literally never seen her act in my entire life.
I like her actor.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's hot. You know, you need stars in this picture. You know,
but her thing is she's good, and she like just takes advantage of the objectification of
that everyone thinks she's really, really hot.
Mm-hmm. But she is good, and she kind of plays into yeah, she's a very sophisticated business person. That's Sydney Sweeney.
I love that.
Is this Cillian Murphy's time?
Yes.
He's gonna win an Oscar, and then he'll go do the Ocean's 11 reboot.
But he is in the test part. He is in the test part. He is the character
Really
that our
good.
hero is trying to win back.
Who's our Danny?
That's a good question. So we already did Sandy Bullock. She's out. Anne Hathaway's in Ocean's 8, so she's out.
Yeah.
That was an easy one for me.
Who's the George Clooney of today?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're talking about one of the fundamental problems that we don't really have a George Clooney of today.
I mean, Ryan Gosling is kind of in that.
I
right
like
now.
that.
He's
I
having
think
a
that's
moment.
good.
Yeah.
After being gone for like 5 years, like it's nice to like see you in a movie again, Ryan. You're actually a very charming movie star. I kind of like Ryan for the rusty part. I like goofy Ryan.
That's what I was
He's
thinking,
like
too.
he's getting into robbing later in life.
Yeah.
He's like still the young thief, but he's like 45.
He's all pushing 50. He's the young thief. Yeah, 100%.
Who would be good in Matt Damon's role? It can be any gender.
A young buck, star of tomorrow. Or who are we minting? Who are of the young stars of today? We're crowning somebody.
Taking a risk on.
It's you. You're the next one.
Okay, I think.
Is Saoirse too big for this part?
Oh, Saoirse would be good. Maybe in a different
part. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
She's
I
a
was
little
thinking.
too big for
Well,
the
actually,
Warners.
Saoirse Ronan was on my short list of who I would want the 9th member of the Thief Guild to be if they did Ocean's 9. It was her and Nicole Byer. I was like, it's got to be one of these two.
Ooh, Nicole Byer's a fun one.
I say put them in. They're both in somewhere on the team. I'm all for it. That's great.
I was thinking Finn Wolfhard or the gay one from Stranger Things could be good.
The gay one.
Oh, maybe that's a good Linus. Yeah, absolutely. It's like and Finn has maybe had like the best career outside of those movies. So maybe that's a good. We'll crown them on the shoulders there. I think that's nice.
I think Kristen Stewart or Elliot Page would be good. Mm-hmm. If they were dating, even better.
Even better. Yeah, K-Stu, 100%. Yeah, fuck, throw them both on there.
K-Stu
Elliot
would be a
Page is
good
your
villain.
steady hand.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, Elliot Page on the good side and Kristen Stewart on the bad side would be good. Oh my god, Aubrey Plaza, obviously.
Obviously.
In this.
It's a surprise she wasn't in Ocean's 8.
100%. She must just like have not checked her phone that day or something. It's wild.
I'm an adamant Ocean's 8 defender. I think that movie rules as well.
I think
very
it's
happy for
time. I think it's time Beyonce comes back. Remember when she was in Goldmember?
And Dreamgirls.
I will never forget when she was in Goldmember.
I think.
Previously pitched for the old Oceans, Mike Myers is on my Oceans squad. Mike
As
Myers
one of the old
needs to come
guys.
back.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
he's in
and-
like the Carl Reiner, like he plays funny characters.
And Steve Martin and Martin Short
As the
and
twins.
Selena Gomez.
As the
as the twins.
As the twins. It's two old dumb twins this time. This is good. I've lost track of how many people.
Is
we've
Alan Alda
casted.
still alive? Because he was on that short list, and I think he'd still be good.
Alan Alda?
He is. He's
not
alive.
a young man, but he is alive. He's still kicking. God bless him.
Dick Von Dyke.
Another guy
Probably.
who's still kicking, Mel Brooks. Now it's all old
Yeah,
guys. Now
we
we're
gotta
doing
get
it with guys.
old dudes in this one.
Old white dudes.
We're in
Yeah,
real
we
short
had
supply.
we tried to say like let's do mixed gender casting, and it was still I'd say 9/10 men. Progress is slow, even on the Run the Julius podcast.
Listen, we're responding to what the trends of the people, and we need young female and non-binary stars to get pushed up over the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rachel Sennett and
Yeah.
Love
Ayo
it.
Ayo
She would
Debris
be
is
perfect
so good.
for
Yeah.
Ocean's 11. Our
Oh
version,
Oh my god,
the
Ayo Debris
10-minute
would
version.
slay. She would be
If-
so good because she can
If
do both.
Martin and Short turn us down, I think Sennett and Debris are great twins. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
god, yeah.
I think that's printing money. That's liquid gold.
Somebody corrected me when I kept calling her Rachel Sennett. And they were like, it's Sennett. And I was like, I don't care.
She's not French. She's not Jewish either.
I've
I
been
know.
hoping that the Panabakers from Disney Channel would make a comeback. Maybe they're good for this.
Oh.
Brother, sister,
Melissa Benoist from Glee and Supergirl. Let's go.
Our favorite from Glow and Miss Davis.
Oh,
Betty Gilpin.
Betty Gilpin.
Oh yeah, that's a
your
really
Danny
good
Ocean.
call.
That's your Danny Ocean.
That's your Danny Ocean.
That would be
That
so
is your Danny
good.
Ocean.
Lock it in.
Damn.
Print. Green light. Right the screen.
Betty, congrats.
Amazing. Well, thank you both for following me on that thought experiment. Who were the stars of today and tomorrow that we're going to fill our reboot of Ocean's 11?
Yeah, I wish I had more modern movie stars off the top of my head, but I didn't.
I think that was plenty. That was more than enough. We probably had like 13 people there.
My first pick was Wayne Brady, so I feel like we're already
First round
off
draft
to-
pick Wayne Brady.
I know.
I love it because I never would have gotten to Wayne Brady despite being a Who's Line kid growing up. Never would have gotten to Wayne Brady, but I love that.
Yeah. I mean, it took one little gay thing for me to be like, and you're back on my radar.
One little gay thing, and suddenly I'm watching old hoedowns
That's
on
what,
YouTube.
Kat, that's what happened with you and Matt Damon, too.
Exactly.
Wow.
I was like,
One little
once
gay
Matt
thing.
Damon stopped saying faggot, I started paying attention.
You know what? God bless.
Also, it's funny because in the Wikipedia page that now everyone has read 3 times by the end of listening to this, it says that he thought it was fag, but fagot was more of a slur. But
No,
the distinction's really funny for me. I don't know why.
I do think, not to take his side, I do think there is a difference between calling someone a fag and calling someone a faggot. I do think they're two different actions.
I just exist in a vacuum where it's flung around all the time in whimsy.
That's where I'm at. But I feel like if both of those words were said to me in a hateful way, I wouldn't read them any differently.
Absolutely.
I feel like I would receive them in the same
whimsy
way.
Yeah.
Whimsy. Mirth. Yeah, 100%.
I do find it funny when I hear it directed towards my direction. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fruity that you're saying that. Like, there's...
Wayne Brady was also on an episode of 30 Rock, so maybe our cast of Ocean's 11 could all be guest actors from 30 Rock.
Conan.
John
I would
Hamm would
love
be
Conan
good.
in my Oceans. That'd be easy.
Was it? Now I'm blanking. John Early could be great.
John Hamm. Oh my God, John Early and Kate Berlant would be fun.
Incredible.
They only need 2 scenes, but they would be great.
They would have everything that we need. 100%. 100%. And I love that. And I respect that. Holly Hunter. Sorry, I'm throwing another one on there. I want little Holly on there. Anyway.
I wonder what Bo Burnham would do in an ensemble piece. I think it's not his bag.
No.
But I'm curious about it.
He had that TV show for like 6 seconds.
But wasn't it about him?
Yeah. But, there were other characters.
Where
He plays a supporting role in The Big Sick, starring Kumail Nanjiani.
and in
He's
Promising
in-
Young Woman.
Yeah.
Promising Young Woman.
That was
Stars
a
are
scary
blind or
flick.
whatever. Yeah, 100%. So this sounds good. Well, thank you both. Any concluding thoughts on Ocean's 11 from either of you?
I love when things go boom, and I love a good scheme.
Love a good scheme. And what is heist if not a big scheme? So sorry.
It's usually a scheme within a scheme. Got to have that final last thing that the audience wasn't even expecting. But it all makes sense because of what they've set up leading up to it. This is one of the great. Like we said at the top, one of the greatest films of all time. I don't rewatch a ton of movies, and especially not ones that I saw like a year ago. But I was thrilled to be given a reason to rewatch Ocean's 11 despite having seen it so recently. And so, I'm sure I'll watch it again within the next 5 years. This is a great film.
Yeah. Great, super watchable. You can throw it on any time and it goes down smooth no matter what you're feeling. Sam, like you said, on the Sight and Sound ballot is Ocean's 11. Just what a film, what a great piece during pandemic. My first pandemic birthday.
Your first pandemic.
My first pandemic of many. If
I have anything to say about it.
For my birthday, when I usually would go see a movie or a Broadway show or something, I was like, well, shit, can't really do that in the same old way. I rented a car with my girlfriend at the time, and we drove to a drive-in movie theater to go see Ocean's 11. And you know what? It was a balm for the soul seeing Ocean's 11 in the heart of all of that. I felt like I was pulling off a heist.
That must have felt really good because
really
that was a world that seemed so far away during that period of time. Being in casinos in groups of people, 11 people congregating together, it was
in
just
the same room.
it just
Working
didn't
for
feel...
a common purpose.
No way. But yeah, so that was great. A beautiful Shangri-La. This is a great film. If you're listening to this and you somehow have not seen it, fucking Ocean's 11, check it out. But we will not be rolling right into Ocean's 12. Because
right. We are doing...
Well, yes, because I need the right guest I need someone who understands Ocean's 12. Maybe that's Sam, like, a year from now. Who knows? But I need someone who is, like, on the wavelength, appreciates the Ocean's 12. So
but I completely understand if you're going for someone else. I'll just say my Ocean's 12 piece here now.
Please.
It's just so fun. It's just so, fun. Okay, sure, it's not as tight as the tightest film ever put to film, but you're having a great time, and the music's excellent.
Incredible soundtrack to Ocean's 12. Oh, we'll get to it. And also one of the most beautiful looking movies of all time. Anyway, Ocean's 12. Check it out. But next we will be doing, I believe with guest Aaron Harland, we will be talking about an all-time Julia classic. This is on the Julia Mount Rushmore. We're going to be talking about fucking Notting Hill, baby.
Run the hill, baby.
Run that hill.
Running up the hill, make it do it good.
I think I've seen very few Julia Roberts movies in
There's a
my
lot of
short
good ones.
existence.
And we're watching a lot of good ones up front. We got to start covering a few stinkers to like filter them in. We got a lot of bullshit to watch for this show. No,
There's
I'm not
two
having,
that
like...
There's two I'm not doing that Kevin is doing and I am not doing because I was like, I don't really care. And Kevin's like, that's okay. We can save it till all the way down the list. And those two are the Woody Allen and the Mel Gibson ones.
Yeah, the Woody Allen, which I already have guests lined up for. There are people that need to get that
really
demon
funny.
off their back. And a movie starring Mel Gibson, not directed by Mel Gibson. But like after Notting Hill, I think we're gonna do a couple of more niche Julia projects that I've had guests demand to talk about, and I'm like, sounds good, because I don't want to get like 3 or 4 years into this fucking show and then it's like Charlotte's Web, Eat, Pray, Love, just like just like I don't want to save all the stinkers for 2026. So we're doing this, but Sam, any plugs, anything that you want the people to know about and check out?
Sure. Well, you mentioned most up at the top. I'm one of the hosts of the Bitter Jurors podcast, where I cover Survivor every season. Wow. We can follow us at Bitter Jurors Pod everywhere. And I also host the Buffy Boyfriends podcast with my boyfriend. And we I have the season 2 finale episode sitting in my chamber, and I've had it for over a month, and I haven't been uploading it. But that'll be coming out very shortly, and we're moving into season 3. That's at Buffy Boyfriends. Yeah, just at Buffy Boyfriends on everywhere.
Amazing. Kat, anything from you?
Yeah, I'm Kat Scott. You can follow me at Kat Scott Online on Instagram. I want to turn my little video game into a real thing, so hopefully I'll start making whatever content I have to for that. But you can find fragments of it in my Linktree bio, etc. And I'm always doing stuff, so feel free to say hi, acknowledge that you've listened to this before. I still don't know any listeners personally in my bubble, so would love to meet you. But I know that Kevin gets interactions through his socials, and that's great.
This is too true. People love sending the feedback. They love requesting various Mike Nichols movies that they want to guest on. Yeah, and I'm TV's Kevin Lanigan everywhere. The brand is strong. The other show, Movies for Babies, where we talk long and stupid about movies for young people. And you can get that show and this show one entire week early, as well as bonus episodes and archives of other podcasts over at patreon.com/tvskevin for as little as $1 a month. We have other spin-offs of this that we've talked about. Run the Emma Roberts, or whatever the fuck we would call it. We've talked about other projects that we could do, but the best way to incentivize us to actually do that is over at patreon.com/tvskevin, and divide up that cheddar, that sweet green. If you want more frequent episodes of this show, again, that's the best place to incentivize us to do that. And as I said, we'll be back, in a few weeks, whatever span of time, to talk about Notting Hill, baby.
Run the hill. Running up that hill is the title of next pod, so keep a lookout after this one comes out.
Absolutely. And, as always, be like Monet or Manet and paint occasionally. Our sign-off every week.
Paint occasionally.
Paint occasionally.
Big mistake, huge.
This is the best part of my day.